All right, so it's day 37 of going through my journal. The quote for today is "Muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone." And the question is, what in your life is best left undone when it feels muddy or unclear? Describe a scenario of your life that fits perfectly with the quote. So if you're journaling along, go ahead and pause the video here and just take a few minutes to write out your response or just think out your response. I don't know. But yeah, I'll be on here in a second with my response. All right, day 37. So let's see what I wrote. I feel like when I just now read this, I was like, I have no idea what I would write to that. I feel like this would have been one of the difficult days to write. So we'll see. It says, the quote makes me think about how most tense situations will often fizzle out if you just refuse to engage. So again, the quote was, "Muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone." Okay, yeah. I found for the most part, talking to people to try to get them to see your point of view doesn't work. A better tactic seems to be just distancing yourself from people that are looking to start trouble. And I will say I'll revise this a little bit because it depends on the person. I think if you try to have a conversation with someone and it's clear that it's not going through, that nothing is going through, there's no point in, whatever. But I found more recently there's been other people that I've been able to, they're actually able to take things in and take criticism in a way, like actually think, because most people just, whenever someone criticizes them, they get triggered. And not that I'm just going around criticizing people, but I have a hard time lying. So when someone asks for like my honest opinion, I will typically try to give it in the nicest way possible, but being honest. And so some people can take that and other people will just get triggered if I say anything, even though if I do say something negative, I always like try to bring up all the positives as well, and then maybe like sprinkle in, but this one thing, like maybe you should think about how others may feel when you do this, things like that. But some people can take that, and other people, even if you say all of these great positive things, if you say anything that's even remotely negative, they just tune things out and won't listen. But for the right type of people, talking can work, but for some people it doesn't work. I've especially noticed this on Facebook. I don't get on there very much, but yeah, I follow my local news, and the comment section is just insane. But anyway, a better tactic seems to be just distancing yourself from people that are looking to start trouble. By continuing to engage with people who are set in their ways, all it seems to do is bring more stress on myself and takes my focus away from more important priorities. In most cases, it's just not worth it. My roommate and I have gotten to a point where we both listen to each other and take each other's thoughts and opinions into consideration. But even with him, there are certain things that I've decided to just let be. There are some areas where I know he's either not willing or able to change. And while I don't like it, I've come to peace with it and have just adjusted my expectations of him and our relationship. Ever since I've let go and changed my perspective and really faced reality, there's been a lot less stress over things that are out of my control, and my head feels so much clearer now. So, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, with some people, you just have to pick your battles and, just understand that your expectations of a person aren't the same as their expectations, and you shouldn't, like, with friendships or, relationships or marriages or things like that, you shouldn't go into them thinking like, well, I like these things about them, but I want them to change. I would never go into any like relationship expecting the person to change. But I don't know, I guess if you realize because I have dealt with a lot of hard-headed people. I have people like that in my family. So I've just learned that it's not worth it to me personally. Like some people, I probably feel like, if I can't get this other person to understand my point of view, I'm going to keep pushing it. But for me, it's just not worth the fight in most cases. And so if it's something that is really like that I have to deal with, that's bothering me on like a day-to-day basis, and I can't like separate myself from it, then yeah, maybe I would argue, if somebody was stepping over my boundaries. But there's not any situations that I'm in right now to where I have to deal with somebody that's difficult. So I just kind of leave it alone. And, I've had some bad opinions on things in the past. And, I don't think someone attacking me, at least in that moment, would have changed my opinion on things. And I haven't really actually come across people, and I'm kind of glad, because I have had some like cringy opinions on things, and the people that did kind of disagree with me, they've all done it in a nice way, in a way that was nice enough that it didn't immediately trigger like my response to just kind of defend myself. They've done it in a nice way. And even if I didn't agree with it then, I've eventually come around. And so that's why, like, when I was really big into the vegan community and things like that, I disagree with their tactics of just totally demonizing anyone who's not vegan and making them feel bad and feel terrible for doing something that they were raised to do, that they're doing their whole life. And I just don't think that's a tactic that works with most people. But anyway, I don't really know where I'm going with this, but that's what I put for day 37. I'll be back tomorrow for day 38.